This is
Did you
Zoom.
get that notification too?
I just got it. Yeah.
Man, they somebody must have sued them into next week.
Yeah. There it
But
is.
yeah. All
Let me
righty.
go.
Let's see here. Hey
This
everyone.
Facebook ad.
Hopefully you can hear us okay. Let us know in the chat if you can hear us just fine. We are, I would say we're right on time, but we know that we're not.
We're never on time. We're either early or late, but never right on time.
All right. So let us know where you're listening from today. Today we're covering some Facebook and stuff. So we are quite excited about that aspect. But before we get to that, Joseph, what's going on in your neck of the woods out
Oh
in
man,
land?
out in Singapore land. Let's see. We are. What do we got going on here in this house? My my oldest son is officially back in school, finishing his first week tomorrow.
Okay.
Um, my wife and I are working on our new social media accounts, which Jaime and I were chatting about. So that's exciting. Working on some personal finance stuff for people out in our community to help them get caught up and figure out how to manage their finances a little bit better and figure out how to invest their money. So yeah, a couple exciting things going on in our side of the world. And the funny thing is, my wife is, as I was telling Jaime, uh, she's just starting her thing up, and she's probably going to be far ahead of me within a couple of months. So she's much better at managing her time than I am. But anyway, yeah, that's what's going on our side of the world. What's going on with you?
Heck yeah, dude. Well, let's see. Got a unsurprising, non-surprising, I guess surprising news here yesterday. So my
Hmm.
rest of the week is gonna look a little bit different, drastically different. So working on
Yeah,
some contingency plans, but what are you gonna do? So
yeah,
outside of that, that's gonna change a few things. As far as everything else is quite well, business as well. So yeah, man, I can't complain. Things are
good,
going
good.
fantastic. All right, so we got Paolo in the house, my friend, my
What's
friend.
up, Paolo?
Thomas, how to avoid account disable in Ads Manager and Google Ads. Well, we're gonna cover a
Oof.
component of that, Thomas. So sorry that's happening to you,
Yeah, it's a tough
but
one.
that's the rite of passage. That's rite of
Yeah,
passage.
this is true. So
So,
true.
all right, well, let's get things going. Welcome to the Agent Lead Source Podcast, episode 47. Today we're covering Facebook in all its glory from the organic side and the paid side. So we're gonna cover some secrets, some hacks, some ninja hacks on how to increase your engagement, but overall how to be more effective, how to actually generate leads, because social media gets a bad rap as you commonly hear it's a waste of time. Well, yeah, it absolutely can be a waste of time, but it depends on what you use it for. If you're using it for personal, just to waste time, cool. It's very easy to do that. If you're using social media like Joseph and I are as a business generating tool platform for us, then there are some ways that you can actually get business from social media if you allow it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's funny you say that, Jaime. The people who typically say that Facebook's a waste of time or social media is a waste of time are the people who are wasting time on social media. It's kind of,
Yes,
it's like,
there's some strong projection right there.
yeah, it's just like if you're the person saying it, then you're also probably the person that is doing it. That's like, what's the statement? If you smelt it, you dealt it. That's kind of
Yeah.
the same situation. In the scenario, it's like, okay, so Facebook's a waste of time because you're wasting time, not because everybody else is wasting time. And the people who understand that, social media is a consumer item, but somebody has to create the content to give them something to consume. And once you understand that and you become the person who's creating the content for them to consume, then guess what? It's no longer a waste of time.
I think you just hit it. I know you just hit it. So you hit the cue right. I mean, here I am. You hit it perfectly. You hit the cue perfectly. And then I'm bashing it up because that was the tee up that we talked about before we went live. What an idiot, Jaime. What an idiot.
Let it roll. Let it roll. Oh man.
No, so that's the key, right? That's the big theme of today. Whether you're doing paid or whether you're doing organic, if you're the creator, you create the conversation. If you're the consumer, then you're being sold to in one way or another. You're being sold to consume somebody else's content. Could be a family member. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying being sold to in the sense of monetary sense all of the time, but you are on somebody else's time. When you go and you create the conversation. You're the person that's hosting the party. You're the one that is driving the narrative and conversation, as opposed to reacting to somebody that posted. Nothing wrong with reaction, but understanding that if you're going to use social media, especially Facebook, as your business arm, as a marketing arm, as an advertising arm, if you're there just consuming, then yeah, it's very easy to get down the, oh yeah, this is a waste of time. But if you're going there and you're creating posts that engage, creating posts that educate, creating posts that will actually bring you business, then there's not enough posting in the world that you could do, because you see the way to actually generate business from it.
Yeah. And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but I just created a post Jaime and I were talking about, and we'll talk about this tool a little bit later. And the whole intent of that was to get people to engage. And Jaime got to see it live and see the action of that post. I was like, I'm going to post this right now. And we both started giggling because we knew what was going to happen once I posted it. And sure enough, if you're watching this and you're one of the people who went and commented on my Facebook recent posts, that was the whole purpose. I think before we even jumped on, I think it was probably at 20 to 25 comments. And I guarantee it'll probably hit 50 to 100 today. And of those people that are doing that are commenting, they're going to turn into basically affiliates of the program that I'm using, because it's a great program, one. But again, just understanding that the content that I created had a purpose to get engagement. And once you understand that purpose was get them to engage and consume whatever I am trying to get out there into the world. And if you do it right, you can make some money doing it.
And his contact information is going to be linked down below, and so is mine. So regardless if you're on the YouTube or if you are listening to us at the Agent Lead Source podcast, which strongly deserves a 5-star review from you today, right here, right now, that'd be cool. So you can go and see exactly the post that he's mentioning. So the day that we go live and record this is on a Thursday. So Thursday, if you're in Central Standard Time, so just go to his profile in the morning, 8 a.m. Central, and you're going to see the exact post that he's referencing, which is, Joseph will cover a little bit more about the tool here in a couple of seconds, but it really goes back to the center of creating. So we're going to get very, very tactical, but from the tool, I don't know, how you can absolutely share as much as you want or on that, Joseph, so people can kind of get a sense of what it's like to get engagement, period.
Yeah, you want me to go ahead and jump into that now?
Yeah.
All right. So essentially what the tool was created for was it was created by another marketer that I know, that I've known for several years. And I trust him, and I've used the tool since it was basically created, like the month that it was created, and they've continued to improve it. And they put metrics in place to make sure that it protects your account, which a lot of these tools that are out there that friend and unfriend don't have any of those metrics in place, because their goal is just to get out there and just do whatever it's supposed to do, which is unfriend as many people as possible. But this one knows that Facebook has certain parameters, and as long as you follow those parameters, you protect your account. So anyway, in utilizing this tool, what I like to use it for is to unfriend people so that I can increase my engagement. The reason I want to do that is because I only want to chat with people who are interested in what I'm interested in. And typically that's real estate, and that's running a business, right? Entrepreneurship. And if I have people that are inactive, by the way, I had over 1,800 people, Jaime, I think I showed you, that are inactive. So the tool allows me to unfriend 100 people per day. That protects my account, and 500 people per week. So essentially, I'm on a, let's call it a 3-week plan, if you will, to go and unfriend these people. And then I can literally just click a button and say, unfriend these, this 100 inactive people today. And it'll go through at a certain time, and I can select how long I want that to be, and it'll go through and unfriend them. That's nice, and that helps a lot. So example, whenever I made that post today, just by unfriending 100 people, it's triggered Facebook's algorithm to say, all right, this guy is tired of dealing with people that don't engage with this stuff, or tired of not getting a lot of engagement. Because typically when I post, I get a lot of engagement. And guess what magically happened? I made that post, and within 10, 15 minutes is like comment, 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 like, right? And so that's understanding how the algorithm works. Now, the most beautiful part about this particular thing is I can go in, and since I know I can friend and unfriend 100 people on either side of that per day over the course of a business week, 5 days, then I can go into a Facebook group as well. And I can say, okay, I really like this Facebook group. Let's say, for example, it's Round Rock, Texas, buy, sell, trade. And I can go in there and I can say, go friend doctors, go friend lawyers, go friend teachers, right? These are the type of people I want to be connected with, that I know are what real estate agents call high value leads, that I want to connect with. And the tool will go out and it'll go into that group and find anybody that has that title, right? Or those particular titles, and go friend them at a certain schedule and protect your account. The other part of the tool that the tool has added, I believe, is once they have accepted your friend request, it can also send a message, right? Now, this has been around for other platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter for a long time. But Facebook has such tight parameters around what they allow to be a bot and not be a bot, that it was really hard for people to understand what the metrics were to not affect your account or get your account blocked for the day or month or whatever have you. And so anyhow, with this tool, it helps you get clients that match your interest and what you're trying to put out into the world, which in this case is real estate.
Yeah, let's really lean in here, because this is super, super powerful. What we're talking about is your personal profile.
Yeah.
So as you know, you have 5,000 friends, and then people can follow you once you max that out, but you have 5,000 friends. Some of you have 5,000, some of you have 50, doesn't matter. Yeah. So from that understanding that we're talking about our personal profile, not our business page. Let's repeat that. Personal profile, not our business page. Another principle that we need to start getting more accustomed with is that your engagement, your business, believe it or not, it's going to come from your personal profile. Yeah. Long gone are the days of, well, I'm going to get 100 people to like my business page, and then when I post, maybe 50%, 60% are going to see it. That's not a reality today. So we need to understand that whenever you are bringing people into your world, bring them into your personal profile. Don't try to bring everybody to your Facebook business page, because the reach there is just dismal. You can have 100 people like your page, and less than 2% are going to see your post.
Yeah.
So the struggle there is you're selling them on liking your page, which for all intents and purposes, they're signing up to be sold and they see it. And beyond that, you're selling them twice on them staying in that group and then engaging and having a conversation with you, or being in community with you. It's just not going to work. So what we're talking about in most, actually all of our strategies, are going to revolve around the personal page. That is where we're going to thrive. That's where, again, we're going to create our engagement. That's where we're going to educate. That's where we're going to prospect in a very stealthy way, so as to generate business. So what Joseph was referencing is something that is, for just a heads up, I had no idea what that was. So I just, so I'm using it now. And to break through the fourth wall real quick and share our secrets. Well, Joseph just shared the secret, but here's the reason that we're not sharing that tool's name. One, they haven't paid us. So we are not going to be throwing out some we need coin at this point. We've gone a full year without getting sponsored by a software company. Well, early on we had like a drink company approach us, Joseph. I think we talked about that one, and it did absolutely
Yeah.
made no sense.
Yeah.
But as far as, well, there's that element of it, but the other element is now you're incentivized to reach out to Joseph. Now you're incentivized to reach out to me, so as to continue a conversation. Now, we're not trying to sell you or do anything like that. What we're trying to do is show you the strategies that a lot of people are not telling you. Actually, no one's
They
telling
won't tell you. Yeah, they won't tell you.
They won't tell you. So there's
They
that
may not.
aspect. Good.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say most marketers, because they lean so hard on paid, most of them won't know about how to convert people organically, right? And also not make it seem like a sale. And so most of them have no idea to even have this, what type of conversation to have around this type of product, right? Or this type of scenario that we're talking about.
100%. So as we started, the Agent Lead Source podcast, when we started, the first time that we connected, we thought that this would be cool to share strategies, share everything. So we're actually living it and showing you. So going back to the point that we're making, marketers that do this type of strategy, which you just kind of saw that sell, and we did it strategically so you could see it, 99.999% of the people will not, or marketers will not tell you that. There's going to be about 5% of the audience that realizes what's happening. So 5% of you probably saw, oh, well, they want us to reach out. There's probably some affiliate. There's probably something on the back end, whatever. Of that 5%, it's because you're either doing it yourself, you have that training or whatever. But what we're doing is just sharing. So the 100% that heard that message gets it. And that's why we're presenting it the way that we do. Now, I'm going to guess, and let us know in the comments section if that felt scammy, spammy, unethical, or whatever. Guarantee you that no one's going to comment that. So giving you
far from our podcast.
Exactly. So it's that strategy that creates engagement. So as you saw, we did a very soft, quote unquote, sell, but we really went more towards outcome, create engagement. You're removing people from your friends list that are never going to comment, that are hurting you in the algorithm because they see that Joseph has 5,000 friends, but 10 people comment. Well, doesn't mean that 10 people, doesn't mean that his content is bad per se. It just means that maybe he confirmed too many people to his friends list, and now it just got bloated. So there needed to be a little bit of pruning so the ratios start making sense.
Yeah, no, I agree, Jaime. So those of you who are agents, which should be everybody that listens to this podcast, but I know there's some people who aren't agents that just run a different type of business. What you have to understand is, and you do understand this, but I just want to drive it home, the lifeblood of your business is leads, right? And if you've listened to this podcast before, you know that my true belief is organic, and because I like to increase my margins as much as possible, meaning that the less money I have to spend, then the more I make, the larger margin I have, more take home, if you will. And so whenever I think about this type of product or organic marketing, my goal is always to have the highest level of engagement possible, because the more engagement that I can drive by having engagement creates more engagement. And so let me dive a little bit deeper into that. If I can get one person to engage, their friends may see that engagement. Not only will their friends see it, the algorithm will see that engagement. And then somebody else will comment because they came from the algorithm saying, hey, look at what Joseph's posted and it's getting a lot of traction. But if I have this bloated Facebook friends list, and then if only 10 people comment or 5 people comment, the algorithm is going to be like, it's not catching what it needs to catch. However, if I get 10, 20, 30 people commenting, it just starts feeding, the algorithm just starts feeding it in front of more and more people. And the beautiful thing about that is it costs me nothing except for, of course, the tool that I paid a lifetime membership for, and I have it for as long as I'm a part of Facebook. And so now I just go clean out, every month or 2 months or so. It used to be daily, actually, but I'll tell another story later about that. But every month or so, I go out and I just clean out all my inactive and people who have deactivated accounts, because those people are causing my engagement to drop, which means my business also drops. Same thing for all real estate agents. The less engagement you have, if you're doing organic marketing, then the less people you're going to be able to get in front of to buy or sell a house. And it just makes sense if you really start thinking deeply about it. And so I wanted to make sure I kind of came from that angle to allow you to know, like, why would you allow however many friends you have, let's say it's 500 people who never engage with your stuff, continue to be a friend on Facebook? What's the point? Especially if you're in sales, which you are, even relationship sales.
100%, 100%. And what you're going to find is that some people that are within your family, that you're going to remove them. But it really comes back to what's your purpose? What's your goal?
Yeah.
If it's to be, if you're comfortable with that, okay, cool. But if you're looking to grow and continue to have a effective lead generation tool, which that's what Facebook is, then you might consider a strategy like that. And it's not the only strategy that we're going to cover today. It's just an element of the strategy. We're going back to the principle of we are creators, we're not consumers, right? So we're going to go and create, we're going to start conversations, and that alone is going to be the catalyst to everything else that we talk about. If we're not creating, then this strategy that Joseph just shared with us really doesn't do us any good, because we're not posting. So there's nothing to create the engagement on. So if we're just waiting for our newsfeed to get filled by friends, family, everybody else, then you're in for a big time waste. Again, it goes back to what you want to use the platform for. So just putting that into context, and an accelerator going into something else, because another strategy that we can tie in here, because a lot of you are going to say, well, I only have 50 people. I only have 100 people. I only have however many people you think that you have connections with. Sure, you can add people, obviously, and Joseph went through a strategy on how to do that with Facebook groups. But Facebook groups, in and of themselves, you could either participate into these groups and draw people from those groups, or you can create your own group. You can create your own party there. So Facebook groups is still one of the most effective ways to create an audience, nurture an audience, and benefit from that audience. So if you go and participate in somebody else's group, you get the benefit of somebody have already built up a group of 2,000 people, 10,000 people, 100,000 people. These groups can get massive. So you can get instantly in front of, if it's a 10,000 member group, depending on how active they are, chances that a couple of hundred are going to see your post without you having to do anything. Now, if you continue posting crap, then it's going to be less. So you need to bring your A game, and we'll talk a little bit about A game material, but see it in that light. You don't have to go and run a radio spot. You don't have to go and run a commercial. These are your new mediums of getting your brand out there.
Yeah, I love it. So let's talk about some engagement and how you become the king of somebody else's Facebook group. Number one, you don't want to go in there and talk about real estate all the time. That's key. But number two, we used to do things that would create wild engagement in a Facebook group. And the purpose of that is just like what we were talking about earlier. It's the more people who engage, the more people that we get to see and who get to see our stuff. And we can decide who we want to add as friends that are engaging with this. So you want to go in there and post some wonky stuff, because there are people who are sitting at home that have nothing else to do, or at their jobs that have nothing else to do. Um, and you want to go in and you want to do things like ask crazy questions, like post a GIF describing what you do for work in Round Rock. Post a GIF describing how you feel about Taco Tuesday. Post a GIF showing us what your favorite car is or what type of car you drive. Post a GIF showing us how you feel about your kids. Post a GIF showing us how you feel about your spouse. Now, a lot of you are probably going, man, what the heck is Joseph even talking about? And so with the purpose of that is you don't care what they post. That's not what matters. What you care about is how many people you can get to engage with you. Because later on, with the algorithm saying, man, this dude or this lady is fantastic at creating engagement in this group, and that's what we want. That's why we created these groups, to create a community. But us marketers are pretty good at ruining what the purpose or finding out how to utilize that differently. And so all these people have engaged with us. They've pumped us up. They've essentially pumped our account saying, man, this person is so great at what they do. The next time we post about real estate, let's say we post a poll in there about how many people have owned their house for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. Guess what? We're going to get so many more people who engage with that poll. Then we take that information, we go create a Google spreadsheet, and now we have a list of people who own homes in our city, and we know how long they've owned their home. Now we go look at their profile and we decide if we want them to be friends or not with us, or we want to be their friends. And then we take it a step further and we send them a message and say, hey, really great to connect with you. What do you do for business? Would love to stay connected with you. Is it okay if I add you to my database? Just need your name and phone number. Here's my name and phone number, so I'm a real estate agent and business owner. And guess what? Now you have a list of 50 to 100, maybe 200 plus people that own homes, and you know how long they've owned their homes. And so that's the steps of understanding how engagement works. You just can't be lazy with it. You have to be really, really, what's the right word that I'm looking for? You really have to have a purpose. It has to be purpose driven whenever you're creating this engagement and understanding it.
Folks, this is one of those times where I kind of have to sit back and not say anything, because it's you're gonna want to listen to that back, because maybe I'm too close or at this point to this, but what Joseph just went through is a strategy that you're not gonna hear anywhere. And what people are saying that I probably shouldn't say this, but you have you have all these people in your news feed. I shouldn't say this because I don't want to be seen as a hypocrite, even though I am, but you're going to have all these people in your news feed that sponsor or run ads, whether that's YouTube, that's Facebook. And as I say this, I know that right next to this, there's an ad that I posted, but you have all these people sharing, hey, check out my masterclass, how I went from 0 to $1 million. And I'm not going to prove it to you, but just trust me. So all of these masterclasses that are effectively all they are is they're going to get your email, send you to a masterclass. That's a complete waste of time. The first half of it is going to be about their made up story on how they used to be broke, but their parents were actually rich, by the way. And then they're just really struggling. They had a can of soup and was the last thing to their name. And they realized that God at that point called them to change their lives forever and for always. And then the last, stop me if I'm lying at any point, Joseph.
No,
Stop me if I'm lying at any point. So that last part of the webinar is not even a sharing valuable information with you. That last part of the webinar is maybe sharing a little bit of some testimonials that you can either pay for, that you can absolutely make up, that you can incentivize people to do right off the bat so they can get a discount. There's many ways to get fake testimonials or less than authentic testimonials. And then the last quarter of the webinar is selling you on their course, their whatever, and everything else. So the reason I go through that entire journey is because the last, I would say, minute or whenever Joseph was going through that strategy, that's something that people are trying to sell you. If that strategy specific, they don't actually know that strategy, but people are going to sell you on something that's less valuable, that's going to make you do a lot of work, that's less than effective. But what Joseph just detailed through was a complete robust strategy that if you have the time and not the money, then you implement. But if you have the money and not the time, then guess who else is doing it? A virtual assistant or somebody else within your group. None of that has to be done by you. You can take it one step further. So it's where I try to one up you, right? So you can take it one step further once you have your list. Either they give you their contact information willingly, or you can find their contact information pretty easily. And I know that we're going to get in the comment section, well, what do we use? Which software do we use? Again, until they pay us, I'm not going to share anything until they sponsor this podcast. We're not going to, I'm kidding, but just DM Joseph and I, and we'll send you our preferred list or providers. And guess what I just did there? I sold you on reaching out to us, by the way. But anyway, from that standpoint, once you have them on your spreadsheet, well, every single year now you can send them an updated CMA to help them contest their property taxes. They're going to see it as very fortuitous. No one's going to ever say, well, at some point I made a comment, or at some point somebody DM'd me 4 months ago, 8 months ago, and now I'm starting to why is this coming into my mail? Well, no one's ever going to make that connection. So once you go through the strategy, again, you're going to have to rewind the podcast or rewind the video to get the full breakdown of what it looks like. But you can go one step further and really lock those people into your world, or you lock in yourself into their world without losing a beat. And you know that these are homeowners because they just told you.
Yeah. Can you still hear me okay, Jaime?
I can hear you. Okay. So just I got a little charge there, so I need to cool down.
I like that, right? You have to take it a step further, right? Now that you have their information, what can you do with it? You can send them a piece of mail every week, every month, every year. And your goal is to make sure they know who you are. And if you add them as a friend on Facebook and you start engaging with them and then you start posting things, guess who's going to see your stuff? And then they find out more and more about your real estate business, and guess who's going to want to work with you? Real estate's a long-term game, right? It's not like the engagement stuff is going to happen fast. The getting their contact information is going to happen fast. Building your list is going to happen fast. And the rest of it's going to be slow. And what I mean by that is, you might get a deal within the first 30, 60, 90 days from this scenario, but it's about the snowball effect. And if you really understand that you have this list of people that you can now go out and be in contact with, and you've created this list for free, and you know that every year, if you have at least 100 people, you're going to have at least, I'd say at a minimum, probably 5 to 10 people who are going to be buying or selling a house, or know somebody who's going to be buying or selling a house. And as long as you can stay in front of them, as long as you can send them a mail, you can send them a Facebook message, you can, engage with their content. If you're really smart about it, you just have their Facebook page and you click on it and you go see what they posted that day. And you keep clicking on, all you have to do is like their stuff. And whenever you post, they're going to see your stuff. It's really that simple. And as long as they know you're an agent and they're not working with their cousin or sister, and their other agent probably is terrible at follow-up, you're probably going to be their agent. You just don't know it yet, and they don't know it yet. But that's how the system works. And you have to be playing the game for the long term. I have people who have followed me for 2 or 3 years that they just didn't see the right product or the right testimonial or the right information to want to work with me. And then all of a sudden I get a message like, man, Joseph, I've been following you for 3 years. I see what you've been doing. I see that you guys are doing seller stuff now, seller lead generation. I'd love to test that out. What would it take for me to work with you? All right. And so it's the same process. You might not have somebody that's selling the house for 3 or 4 years or 5 years because they love their house. But as long as you're connected with them, at some point they're going to buy or sell with you, or sell and buy with you, and you're going to make thousands upon thousands of dollars. All you had to do was create Facebook posts and engage with people. Think about how minuscule of a process that really is at the end of the day.
Yeah. And that's the direct sell. This is what really excites me about social media. That's the direct, it's long-term sell, sure, but the direct sell, we were talking about that individual, but they have their own sphere of influence. And we know that some people love to host parties. We know some people love to be social. We know some people that will introduce themselves to anybody and everybody and will insert themselves in conversations that they probably shouldn't be inserting themselves in.
Yeah.
So if that's their human nature and they are advocates of yours, so that's what we teach, getting your community to be advocates, being your
champions
by proxy, exactly, being your champions, being people that are by proxy, it's kind of your sales agents at some point, that are going to drop your information, are going to drop your name. And that is that's a great place to be in. So if going back to the very principle of what we talked about, being a creator instead of a consumer, if you never created, you're not going to nurture that relationship. You're not going to create those champions. You're not going to create those advocates. So staying in obscurity just isn't going to work. So the more that you create, the more opportunities that you have for this to happen. And either the people that are connected to you on a one-to-one level, so that are friends, connected, or what have you, either they'll use you when it's time, or they're going to be your champions whenever they see or hear of the opportunity that makes sense for you.
Yeah. It's interesting whenever you start talking about real estate, you can have up to 4 or 5 transactions from one transaction. But it comes down to nurturing. I think most agents, because they have to, especially new agents, because they have to have money to pay their bills immediately. Like I was talking to an agent yesterday, I'm not going to mention their name, but her situation was, I've been in real estate for almost a year and a half, I think, or a little over a year, and I've only closed 4 deals, right? And I was like, well, why are you on a call with me? Like, our programs cost money. Although we do have some free stuff that we offer now on a referral basis, but what made you decide to talk to me? And her thing was, I knew that you would help me even if I didn't have money, basically, right? They didn't say that, but through the conversation, that's what I figured out. And they still ended up buying something from us. And that wasn't my goal in the conversation. I even told them, hey, look, I don't need you to buy anything from me. I don't want you to buy anything from me. I'm going to give you some tips to go out, but you have to execute on them. And so whenever I started thinking about this situation and started thinking about agents, for that particular agent, if they do what I told them to do, they're not just going to get that immediate transaction, which they need to pay their bills. They're going to get 4, 5, 6, 7 different transactions moving forward. And I think that's really important for agents to really understand is you may do some things that create an immediate transaction or a direct transaction that's going to lead to 3, 4, or 5 more deals.
Yeah, no, that's powerful. That's powerful. Kenny over on YouTube. Excellent info, guys. I'll be watching it later offline.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kenny.
I don't know how to say his last name, so we'll say I'll give it a shot. Blanche. No, maybe I shouldn't give it a shot. Thank you, Kenny. Tom, sorry I came in late. Why do I need a third-party tool rather than unfriending people within Facebook? Well, you don't. No, you don't. I mean, if you've got time and if you know the people that are not active in your community or people you don't want to be connected with, have at it.
Yeah.
So it's as simple as that. Hey guys. Hey. How do let's get back to this one, Joseph. Because I do think it makes sense. How to avoid account disable in Ads Manager and Google Ads? Simple answer, you can't. So no, just there's some principles, there's some practices. I'm gonna start saying that to everybody.
That one just hit home so hard the last couple months.
Yeah. So Joseph runs a ton of ads. Joseph runs a ton of other accounts. So so do I, and we still have it.
It hurts.
We still get it. So being structured is going to help you a lot. So we're talking about Facebook, so we'll stay with Facebook. The only thing we'll say about Google Ads is there's a new three strike system that actually I made a video about this 2 days ago. So you're going to want to check that out in my YouTube channel, Jaime Resendez. I made a video specifically on that, so we're not going to spend any time on it. From the Facebook side, you want to be structured the right way. The moment that you create your account, the moment that you create a Facebook profile, you have the ability of running ads, which after you create your Facebook business page, by the way. But that means that you're running your ads from your personal account. So your personal ad account. You have to create your business manager first. And if you don't know what a business manager is, then type in Facebook Business Manager. It'll take you straight to where you need to be. At the top right-hand side, it's going to say Create Business Manager. You're going to hit Create. So that business manager is going to serve as your umbrella. And that umbrella is something that you can invite Joseph to, you can invite myself to. Not suggesting that you do that, but you can invite other people to contribute to your business. So some of you operate some mega businesses, and what you can do is invite your admins, you can invite other marketers, you can invite whoever. So they can now be plugged in and plugged out instantly. There's no sharing personal information or anything like that. You don't have to share your personal credentials. You're inviting people to take certain actions within your business. You can create, after you've created your business manager account, you're going to create your ad account within the business manager. So it's very important. You already have a personal ad account. I understand it's a very visual thing, but I just want you to hang in there with us for a second. Once you've created your business manager account, which again is your umbrella, you create your ad account and connect your Facebook business page to this business manager account. Now you start running your ads. Being structured in that way will help you in the event or when Facebook says, hey, I don't like what you've been doing. So I am going to disable your account. I'm going to suspend your account, and it's your responsibility to appeal it. Once you appeal and you lose, sorry, that account is gone. But at that point, if your account gets locked down, you still have the ability of creating another ad account within that business manager. So I hope this is making sense. But the last thing I'll say about that is you're creating a level of separation from you as a person, you as a personal account. You're creating a level of separation. So in the event that that gets shut down, you're not dead in the water. If you run ads, the way that you can instantly create an ad through your personal account, through your personal ad account, and that gets shut down and you appeal and you lose, that Facebook profile is useless to you. You will not be able to run any ads. You will not be able to create any business manager accounts. You won't be able to do anything else. You're done. You're going to have to create another account. And they make it very difficult to do because they know emails that are associated with an individual. So just know I went through a lot. I know that's very technical, but it's preventive. That's really where you're going to really at least stand a chance.
Yeah, it's once you're there, it is such a frustrating process. Jaime's kind of heard me talk about this the last few months because we have two different accounts that we run lots of ads through, and they're even doing things now where Google used to do this. Google probably still does this. I haven't done SEO in so long, but where they mail you a letter to verify that it is indeed you at a particular address that is running the ads. Now that's typically done for political ads, but they're even cracking down on just regular quote unquote small mom and pop businesses, if you will, or advertisers that run real estate ads. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but they're getting cracked down by the government, so they have to do what they have to do. It's frustrating, especially whenever you employ people. Anyway, on with this whole thing. So the best thing you can do is follow all the rules, go through and read the policies and procedures, and all those statements, it's worth the time so that you, whenever something does happen to your account, you can reference and say, can you tell me where this is located? Even though they probably won't tell you, they'll just probably give your ad account back. But then you can kind of have an idea possibly of what you may have quote unquote done wrong, even if you didn't do anything wrong. It's anyway, that's pretty, that confusing statement that I just made is how confusing Facebook ads back end is whenever it comes to dealing with Facebook.
And that's because Joseph runs thousands of dollars every single day. So that's coming from somebody that knows. And
my Amex card has lots of points at this point. I'll say
that. The one thing that we covered preventive. We'll give you a reactionary or a reaction. The question was posed how to get it back. Or was it how to get it back? Because I'm on idea. We might how to avoid account disable. And okay, so that was the question. Well, let's just say it already happened to you. So where you're gonna want to go is to what's the URL? Well, there's a Facebook business help center. So just type in Facebook business help center. And there you're going to see some options. There's going to be some Q&A. There's going to be just some resources, but it's either towards the middle or towards the bottom that you have the ability of contacting support. So there's messenger chat. So you're going to be able to speak to an individual through messenger chat that you can have a conversation with. They're going to ask for your ID. Not in some cases, they actually do ask for your ID, by the way, but they're going to ask for your ad account ID because they need to know, what are we talking about? Are we talking about a personal, well, basically which ad account are we talking about? So I think it's like business/help. So it's like facebook.com/business/help. But anyway, go to Facebook Business Support Center on Google. It'll send you straight there. So there you have a chat that you can have a conversation with individuals. Now, once you start running enough ads, you're going to get a personal person that you can email and set up schedules with, set up a call appointment with. They are not support. So that once you start spending enough money, you have the ability of contacting somebody at Facebook, except that's the sales side. They just want you to run more ads. But that's at least something because, well, I understand you're trying to get me to run more ads, but your friends over here, they disabled my account. So what do you want me to do about that? But that's not everyone has access to that. I share that just in case you are running a large budget and aren't aware that you have that resource. Most of you don't, just to be honest with you.
I'll say this too, Jaime, that now there's a Facebook page that you can go to. It's like Facebook Business. Just look up Facebook Business or something like that within Facebook, and that'll open up a chat as well. And you can have them try to reach out that way. But yeah, once you start going to business, facebook.business.help or whatever, however that URL looks, there is a chat section there as well, and it'll kick you over to the chat if you have access to it. It's helpful, but it's like level one intermediary person answering your questions, and then you have to go up the chain, which is again very frustrating. So just know it's a frustrating process no matter where you start.
Yeah. Now that we're on the topic of ads, it's surprising that folks, I guess it shouldn't be surprising. You have a life to live. You're real estate agents. You're not marketers. Well, in a way you kind of are, but not professional marketers. You do have the ability of seeing what ads other people are running. So you have the Facebook ads library accessible to you. So if you were wondering, hey, what is, the market center down the street, or what's the brokerage down the street? What are they running? Are they running any ads? Well, you can absolutely see what ads they're running now, what ads they ran in the past. And you have the ability of seeing exactly where they send the traffic to. So not only can you see, hey, Joseph is running these types of ads, you can look up my name and you can see the ads, the type of ads that I run. So there, not only do you see the ads verbatim, but you also get the ability of clicking through to see where they go. So you don't have to wait for somebody to appear on your news feed to see, hey, what what are they running? So the Facebook ads library, again, Google that one, and you're going to get straight to that tool that allows you, or web page that is by Facebook, that allows you to see what other people are running in your market.
Yeah, some transparency there. Yeah, if you're gonna take that route, which I do suggest that you do start doing research on what's going on in your market, look up the top agents to see if they're running ads, right? Now, they may have larger budgets than you, but if you have a little bit of money to spend to run a similar ad with your information and, not verbatim to what they're doing, but, you use it as a guide to create whatever you're going to create as an ad, it might be worth it for you to test it out to see, okay, John Smith over here is crushing it. Dude's doing like 40 million a year. I see that he's running 2, 3, 4 different ads. I got $10 to run a day. I'll run 2 different ads that are similar to that. Don't know who he's targeting, but I know if he has a landing page or if he's doing a lead form. Let's see if it works. And it might be your surprise that it does work or that it doesn't. But if it does work, you better be ready to follow up, because somebody who's spending money to run ads, and the ad, it also tells you how long the ad's been running. If it's been running since January 1st of this year and it's still running, that tells you that ad's working. So that's how I kind of dive in and look at different ads and go, okay, man, this company that I follow, it's a multi-million-dollar company, is running this type of ad. I'm going to run a similar ad with my own copy and change things up so it matches how I speak and what I believe in, so forth and so on. And then I'm going to run that ad at my budget to see if I can generate business from it. And most of the time, if it's a multi-million-dollar company and I'm running a similar ad, some of their ads are crap. But anyway, if I think it's good, I usually get business from it.
Yeah. And how you get an instant notification, or more of a real-time pulse, because I understand that maybe you did not know that the Facebook ads library was a thing. Well, now you do. So you're going to go and you're going to do some research, but again, you're in real estate, you're an agent, you're responsible for showing homes, sending properties, contracts, negotiations, what have you. So to help yourself out is create a spreadsheet of your competitors' Facebook pages. So that's step number 1. Go and identify your immediate area. And if you don't necessarily know who they are, go to Google, type in real estate agent in wherever, Dallas, Orlando, whatever, New York. And you're going to see their presence on Google, most likely. So through Google Maps, list those out on your spreadsheet, then go find them on Facebook, their business page, talking about their business page. You can do it on personal page too, but we're talking about the Facebook business page. Once you go and click on those business pages, scroll through, engage with it if you want. But by you simply going to their Facebook business page, what successful advertisers, agents, marketers are doing is they're going to retarget you. So very much the same way that you go over to Nike and look for shoes, and then you log into Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Oh, look, there's the shoes again. They're going to do that to you. So this is going to serve as an instant feedback mechanism to where once a new ad gets introduced, oh, that's what they're doing. Okay, cool. Because you're going to see it in your newsfeed. That way you don't have to spend any time on this exercise every single week trying to keep up with the Joneses. Well, you don't have to. You get a real life feedback on what they're doing in their business.
If you're a new agent, this might be over your head, but if you're an agent that has dabbled in ads or interested, or even if you are a new agent and you want to learn how to do this stuff, that's really one of the first places to look, is to say, okay, I'm going to go type in my city. I'm going to go look up, type in my city in the Facebook ads library, see what ads come up. I'm going to see tons of ads come up. Some of them be real estate, some of them be restaurants, car washes, whatever. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to look for the top agents in my market, and I'm going to see if I can type in their name to see if their ads come up. That's probably like step number 1, step 0, if you will, of looking to see what type of ads you might be interested in running. for your market. And then as Jaime said, if you click on that ad, the likelihood of them retargeting you, if they have a good marketer or if they're good at doing it themselves, is pretty high. So you get to see that feedback loop happen. And then you can start taking steps to understand how that works and dive in a little bit more into Facebook ads.
Yeah. Yeah, Joseph, we are getting ready for the dismount. It is about that time. Patrick is sending us a few pretty inappropriate messages. I don't know if you've been monitoring the chat, man, but
not.
he's
Not.
he's not happy. But
Did we go
cool.
long?
So
We could have.
what's that?
I said, did we go long? We could have. I was not paying attention to the time.
No, we're right on time. That's why I'm a bit confused what his hostility is. I don't know what his deal is, but so we're
Get over it, Pat.
Facebook is seekers for engagement leads and more. So what we shared was some very in-depth strategies on how to create that engagement and how to optimize your engagement. So going back to the very principle of this entire podcast, if you take nothing else away from this podcast, which there's a lot of different things that you could, if you take nothing else from this podcast, walk away with the mindset of being a creator as opposed to a consumer. That would be my dismount moment, Joseph. I'll cede it over to you. But if for me, for my money's worth, if I'd spent this last several minutes with us and given us a 5-star review, that's it. That's what I would have taken away.
I think for me, the takeaway that I would have is creating engaging content, getting rid of bloat on your Facebook account to get your engagement up will allow you to make thousands upon thousands of dollars if you take the action to create engaging content and then take the next step in getting people's information and being in contact with them and allowing them to see your information. Because, this podcast has always been about actionable items that will make you money in your real estate business. So that would probably be my takeaway.
Dope. Folks, this has been the Agent Lead Source podcast. We looked at Facebook, how to create engagement, and ultimately how to generate real estate leads. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact and connect with us. Our info will be linked down below, regardless of where you're listening from. So if we can be of service down the road or now, we'd be happy to be that. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thanks, guys.